What is going on? Welcome to Dharma Time here on WPSN99.com, the Problem Solving Network. As always, I'm the Dharma Guy here with the Dope Doctor. What's up, man?
Yep.
That's all you got for me?
That's all I got right now.
That's all we're all talked out, right? Because we just did another show before this one.
Right.
Anyways, we are also joined here today with my lovely wife, but she refuses to be on camera.
Angelita.
Yeah, I think I need to just briefly flash it over there, and I'll get beat though. See, she beats me. That's what my shirt says. I can feel the stare. I can feel it.
Oh, she just gave you one.
Yes, I can feel that.
That was awesome.
How dare you? See, if I wanted to be an ass, I could do it.
You should. You can show her to the Facebook Live people. Let's see how that. Look, I can see her.
Yeah, she's already preparing. So, anyways, all right. So, I kind of want to just jump straight into it today, man.
Go for it.
So today's topic is don't be an ass.
Yeah, stop being one then.
Yeah, right. But I didn't actually show her, so I'm not being an ass.
Right.
I'm threatening to be an ass. Anyways, so what do we mean by that? I think we all know. We've all kind of experienced this at some point. We've probably all done it at some point as well. I know I have. I've had my time period of being an ass to people. Okay. And essentially the way I'm going to define it is doing something that you feel justified in, right? You can justify to other people. You think that there's a reason for it, I guess. But in all reality, if you're honest with yourself, you're kind of just being an ass. It's unnecessary. We've experienced some of that. We got something going on right now, which I won't name names and what's happening, but there is something taking place, off the show with Louie and I, with a mutual person here who
That's right.
who decided to do something towards us in an indirect way. I guess. I'm trying to be as vague as I can on this one, but
yeah. What are you saying?
You know what? Screw it. Somebody brought a lawsuit against the foundation over something frivolous. I'm going to say it. Why not? I'm not going to say who it is, but over something ridiculous that really could have been handled in a phone call, right? Like, there's no need to bring litigation into this,
right.
which I will say, in full transparency, that you have been talking to him, and it looks like, we might be able to get this thing settled,
right.
In a reasonable way. But that's what got me to thinking, was like, it was completely unnecessary. There's no need for that.
Yeah.
A simple phone call, hey, let's talk about this. Let's figure out a solution here. Would have sufficed. But instead, this person wanted to take it to that level. And so that got me to thinking, well, you know what? Life is filled with a lot of people who do that all the time.
And I think it's important to clarify, since you outed us. It's important to
I don't
clarify.
say any names, but.
Well, no, it's important to clarify that it's not about any behaviors.
No, it's no behaviors.
It's not about anyone's behaviors or anything's behaviors. It's actually about an inanimate object.
It's about our real estate.
Yeah, it's about a real estate deal.
It's ridiculous. It'll be done probably by the end of the day. There's no need for it. But
yeah, I'll go handle it.
My point being is
I'm gonna go take care of it, Trinity.
You go handle our business.
I'm gonna go handle it.
But anyway, so once again, that got me to thinking.
Yeah.
I know I'm guilty of it, if I'm honest,
yeah.
And I'm sure you are. Well, we'll do things, we'll call, as men, we'll say, based upon principle or something like that.
Right.
Or we'll do something that's just like, come on, dude. Like, why are you doing that? But we'll feel completely justified in our stance. And it's really just kind of being an ass to somebody.
Feel justified for being the ass or for taking it?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I haven't even approached that subject yet.
We're not talking about taking it the way that stupid video that Angel just showed.
God,
me, right?
dude, that video was horrible.
I'm not even going to tell everybody what Angel just showed me.
Dude, the video we just watched.
I'm not even going to say it. This doesn't even belong on this show.
No.
Damn, Angel.
That was not a good video.
Angel scarred my eyeballs for life.
It's such a horrible video to watch right before Dharma Time too. Like, that's not a.
Yeah.
If we watched it before a different show, maybe one's coming up. Anyways,
don't Google. Don't be an ass. Don't Google that.
Yeah, right.
Apparently.
So, anyways, I digress. So, a couple examples, right? And I think there's some people watching right now that I might upset, and if I do, oh well. One of the ones that pops in my head all the time when I think of don't be an ass, right? Is there's people on Facebook. Yeah. We did a show on this before about sliding in your DMs, right?
You're right.
So I've seen women will take a screenshot and post of, let's say, a guy, sends them a message. Right. And it's like some generic kind of copy and paste, hey, beautiful, or you're so sexy, or some stupid, line. And the woman won't respond. For whatever reason, she just won't respond.
Right.
And then after a certain amount of time, maybe the guy will say again, hey, I said you're beautiful, whatever. And if they still don't respond, then it takes a very dark turn very quickly. Right. And it's like, Well, fine, you stupid. It's a series of cuss words, and insults and everything else. Basically, just upset that this chick just essentially ignored what he felt to be gold. Coming on. I guess I don't know.
Right.
Obviously, it's not. But and so that in and of itself, I think, is inappropriate at best. And the guy shouldn't be doing that. There's women don't want to be bombarded with your weak pickup lines and stuff on Facebook. Having said that,
he doesn't use Gillette.
Oh, wow. But to me, that's not where the being an ass part comes into play.
Yeah.
To me, the being an ass part comes into play when the woman then screenshots it and calls him out and puts it out there for the world to see.
So she's the one being the ass.
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm coming from. I don't think I think neither one of them are right. I see both perspectives, but I think she then took it to a level it didn't need to go to. I think it was completely unnecessary. And to me, I think that's the basis, if you will, of being an ass, is doing something that, yes, you could be justified in. You could probably get people to back you up on it, but it's unnecessary. Like, you really didn't need to do that.
Like, you and your homies are going to laugh about it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, in that case, I would say, like, I understand from her perspective, the guy escalated quickly. It was unnecessary. She probably didn't answer because, who knows, maybe she's got like 1,000 of them in her inbox, and they're like stray cats. Once you feed them once, they keep coming back. Like, I get it. But you could have just ignored it, or you could have blocked it and could have moved on. Like, what were you hoping to obtain or hoping to get by putting it out there for the world to see? Hey, look at me. Look how great I am. Look how many people like try to hit on me all the time.
Yeah.
Or, look how stupid this guy is. Like, you don't know anything about that person. Like, you don't know. Maybe they got some sort of mental handicap. Maybe they're slow. I don't know. Maybe they're desperate. Maybe they're one of those incels. Now they're gonna go shoot up a place because you posted. Was it worth it? Like, did you really get out of that what you needed? And so, I mean, that's just a small example, but like even more trivial examples. Like, and I know you've done this one. Going when you're driving. Somebody does something you don't like. You get in front of them and slam on your brake. Like, you try to brake check them.
Hell yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, that's being an ass, though.
Yeah,
like, really.
Yeah. I don't brake check anymore, but I've done it.
Yeah, I've done it too.
Yeah.
Dude, I did the dumbest one. Yeah. I was on a motorcycle and I used to brake check people sometimes.
No, that is dumb. No,
that's my anger and rage got the better of me.
Yeah, no.
But it is being an ass, right? Especially in that situation.
I've never brake checked somebody on a motorcycle. No, I've never done that.
I've done horrible things on a motorcycle.
No, I'm not brake checking. That's Trinity. And you were sober. What the hell are you thinking?
My rage got the better of me, man.
Yeah, that ain't rage. That's stupidity.
Yeah, rage makes you stupid. But anyways,
because I would have hit you. I've tried to hit a motorcycle before and it ran away.
Yeah. Tom was saying, "Do it." But no, I mean, I think that I think in today's world, though, it needs to be talked about because I think that causes more problems than it solves. I really do. Yeah. I think why do I sound so weird? You have my levels off or something? It sounds weirder from the last show. Anyways, but I do believe that we, in our interpersonal relationships, be it friendships, coworkers, spouses, I do think that sometimes we get so caught up in what we feel justified in that we then do unjustifiable behavior, and I think that causes more problems than it solves. Oh God, you're gonna get me in trouble, Tom. No, not anymore. I've already attracted the one and only one that matters, and right next to me, which I'm not allowed to show you.
Yeah, you see your finger.
Oh, you can see your finger. Yeah. There you go. But anyways, so what do you think, man? What are your thoughts on that? Just that concept, I guess.
About you being a chick magnet? You mean what Tom is saying on Facebook Live?
No.
No, I think you're right. I think I think there's a lot of people that behave like an ass that don't really think they're behaving like an ass.
I agree.
They feel completely justified.
Yeah.
And I think that it just really depends on where you're at the time, like what you're trying to do with your life. Like if you're at a point in your life where you're kind of just coasting and you're not working on any self-development, you don't really care about how you're appearing to people, and the way you appear in public doesn't really affect your finances or anything else.
But does it?
Then screw it. Do whatever you feel.
I'm going to say it does. I mean, how many opportunities are you going to pretend? See, that's the problem. Is when you're being an ass, essentially, you might think that it's not affecting you, but it is.
Well, I think I was pretty specific about what if it's not affecting this or that. Like the lady in Walmart earlier today. I don't think her behaving like an ass is going to affect her.
I think she was just incompetent, though. I think there's a difference between being incompetent and behaving like an ass.
No, yeah, I wasn't really meaning about that. I wasn't going like her specific. I mean,
Sure.
like in that respect, if that person was being an ass, like
Right.
you
Sure.
know what I mean, then that's really not going to affect anything else other than that employment.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
like could care less.
Right.
However, I think you're right. I think sometimes opportunity is right there,
Yeah.
and you don't know who's watching you. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've recruited people for different parts of my life, whether it be business or opportunity otherwise, from out in the community. Whether it be you're a server, whether it be you're a hostess or something like that, you're something. And I'm like, wow, I love the way that person deals with people. Let me find out if there's an opportunity here for this person to maybe do something different.
Well, we personally, even in the foundation and
Right.
things of that nature, we
Right.
get calls sometimes
Right.
for people wanting, recommendations or, hey, I want to fill this position. Do you know
Right.
of anybody?
Exactly.
Well, if we know of somebody,
Yeah.
but this person behaves like an ass all the time, we think it could potentially be a problem in the future.
Yeah.
We won't recommend you for it.
That's right.
And so what you don't know is maybe this could have been the job of your dream.
Yeah.
But the way you're presenting yourself and the way you're acting, even
Yeah.
though you feel justified in it, is actually costing you something that could change your life for the better.
Yeah. I just X'd you off the list, and you don't even know it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is our behavior does impact those around us.
Dude, I know I've been X'd off lists.
Oh, I
Dude,
guarantee you I have.
I know I've been X'd. I'm sure I've been defriended and all that, especially early on.
Sure.
The
Have you seen
more
some of
ass
my
behavior?
I have G-rated posts for the most part, but I know some of my postings have X'd me off a list.
You showed your ass.
Tom says we know how to deal with assholes.
Yeah, we do.
Put them in their place typically.
Yeah.
But
Call them out. Express it.
and-
Show them.
and I
Show
think
their
that's how you
asshole
do it.
behavior. But what
Yeah.
you're saying is what that girl did. Maybe what she thinks she did is she was showing that dude's asshole behavior. But you're saying she was an asshole for actually showing his asshole behavior. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that she feels justified,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that and I've seen some of the comments; they all feel justified. But to me, if I'm honest, like we got to be honest with ourselves when it comes to our intent on things.
Right.
We can tell the world whatever we want to tell the world,
Right.
but we know what our intentions are, what we're trying to do from it.
Yeah.
And so, from the outside looking in, my guess is when they put that kind of a posting up,
Right.
their intent isn't to shame this other person.
Mm-hmm.
Their intent is to get a bunch of likes and people commenting and like a popularity contest. Their intent is to get attention.
Wait, you don't think the intent was to shame the other person?
I think that's what the guys is to shame the other person. But in all reality, if you don't tag the other person in it or if you block them, they're not going to see it anyways. So there's really no shaming that's going to happen.
Oh, I thought you were saying it wasn't her intent to shame the other person. It wasn't her intent to shame the guy.
I think that's what they tell themselves. But in all reality, I think you just want attention.
I think both.
Combination of both maybe,
Yeah.
but more so the attention.
Yeah.
More so, hey, everybody, look at this. And you want validation, essentially. You
Yeah.
want a bunch of people to now comment and tell you that, that you're right and everything else.
That's it. Marissa says this show was created to see who can say the a-hole word most.
Well, I think we'd run a tie. We have dirty mouths, guys. Off air, we're even dirtier, I guess. But it is internet, so we can get away with some of it.
Yeah, for some reason we curse more on Dharma Time, where we're supposed to
which
be
is weird,
peaceful, than on the couch live.
Profanity is not unpeaceful. It's just a word.
That's what you said.
Anyways, but no, I think that, but I think that's what it is. I think that not even just in that particular case, but in a spiritual sense, even we
Yeah.
will take it back to Dharma Time.
Yeah.
If we're struggling and we don't have peace within us, we're constantly looking for peace outside of us. We constantly think that this next thing is going to give me some sort of peace. It's going to give me the satisfaction that I'm looking for.
Mhm.
And so we'll do it, and we feel justified in it.
Right.
But it doesn't actually give you the peace. It
Yeah.
doesn't give you what you're looking for because
No.
it's obviously within you already. But I don't think enough of us are honest with ourselves when it comes to that. Like, I think that we get so caught up in justifying our own actions, we don't really stop to think how it's impacting other people.
I think we're not honest with ourselves about actually looking for peace. I think a lot of people are looking for conflict, and they think they're looking for peace. They think they're looking for peace, love, acceptance, the whole world
Right.
be some merry place. But at the same time, they're throwing out all kinds of conflict.
Well,
They're-
when I
they're
say
calling
peace-
other people's names and stuff like that.
Well, when I say peace, I'm meaning like for me, for instance, I thrived on conflict. I
Right.
loved conflict.
Right.
But that's because I didn't have internal peace. Meaning, I wasn't, I didn't accept me for myself. I didn't do all the personal growth and stuff like that, where I was still missing something. And
Yeah.
I thought by being mean and aggressive and up in people's face and prone to conflict, that was going to give me what I was looking for. It was going to give me the power that I thought that I was craving.
Yeah.
But when all reality, when I started getting into spirituality and I started realizing, like, wait a minute, when I just have a certain amount of peace within myself, when I have a confidence in how I'm living my life,
Yeah.
none of that stuff really matters to me anymore. Like, it just doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And so I think that we do convince ourselves that we're looking. I think we're all looking for, you can call peace, happiness, whatever you want to call it, whatever term you want to put.
Yeah.
But I think we confuse ourselves on how we're going to get to that. And I think people do genuinely believe that this is going to make me happy, but it doesn't.
No.
Like, I think people genuinely believe, like being an ass, like calling people out on their stuff, and like I'm gonna show everybody this person's being. I think they think that's going to give them some sort of fulfillment, and it doesn't. It never does. It's not going to.
Yeah, just like brake checking them it's just going to cause an accident or something. It's not helping anything.
Which is why I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But even in
and it puts people in danger that aren't even part of the deal.
Absolutely.
Like my daughters are on the road. My wife is on the road. Your children, your wife is on the road. Yeah. It's putting them in danger.
Absolutely. But that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is being an ass. We think that it solves it because we'll
just follow them home and slap them there.
Go home, kick your dog. Please don't kick your dog. It was a joke.
Yeah, you shouldn't have taken it there, Trinity. I said follow them home and do it.
But no, I think that see, you got me all off now.
Yeah.
Please don't go home and kick your dog.
No, don't.
But no, I think that when you find that internal peace, when you find that happiness inside, I think you start to realize justifications that you used prior to don't really add up anymore.
Yeah.
Like I look at my behavior before I kind of found my own internal peace.
Yeah.
And I was the quintessential. I was that guy, man. I was just mean. I was aggressive. I thought that I had to be this powerful individual in order to get the respect that I felt I deserved or whatever. What? What's so funny?
That.
Oh, okay.
I'm listening.
And I justified it. I justified anybody who would ask me. I would justify my behavior by saying, "Oh, well, that person's just an idiot, or they were wrong for this, or whatever." And they very well could have been wrong for some of the stuff that they said and did. But that doesn't inherently mean that I was right for my response.
Yeah.
And at the time though, I would have fought you to prove how right I was. I would have played. I was so convinced that I was right.
Yeah.
But because my own lack of happiness and my lack of peace was the perspective I was coming from, and that. Your ego will lie to you, people. Your ego will lie to you and tell you,
every day.
Yeah, like my ego was like, yeah, that's right. You're the man. That person's an idiot. You right for this.
You the best. You the best.
Yeah. But when you start to kind of have some of that spiritual growth, man, you start to realize that your ego's full of it. Your ego's not to be listened to. And so when I really look back on some of the stuff that I did, and I think like on our other show in the Couch Live, when we talk about recovery and stuff, that's one of the things I like about the 12 steps, and that is taking an inventory of who you've hurt and who's hurt you and things of that nature.
Right.
That accountability I think is important.
Yeah.
And I don't think we do enough of it. Like I don't think some of these people who post some of the stuff that they post or say what they say sometimes take an honest inventory of what's about to come out of their mouth. What is your intent in what you're about to say and do? Is your intent, trying to make a better outcome, or is your intent just trying to blow off some steam and let this person know that you think they're wrong?
Right.
And if that's your only intent, it might not give you the rewards that you're looking for. It might not feel as good as you think it's going to feel. In the interim, it might. Yeah. But long term, it's just not. It's not going to give you the reward that you're looking for.
It might give you that quick little tickle. Is that what you're saying? That quick little tickle, but not the overall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we all want, right? We all want this sense of happiness at the end.
You would hope, but again, I don't know, Trinity. Again,
I think we do.
I don't think we all want it.
I think we do.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants happiness.
I'll disagree on that one.
They just have different definitions of what happiness is, and different definitions of how to get there.
I think some people, I think that there's no constants in anything. I don't think there's any absolutes in anything. And so to say that everyone wants happiness, it's hard to believe that everyone wants happiness with some of the actions and behaviors. And
you got to remember, though, you're using your definition of happiness.
Yeah, exactly.
So not everybody wants your definition of happiness.
No, well, I'm actually not using my definition. I'm using the definition of what. I don't think everybody really wants what they think they want. I think their behaviors sometimes show them exactly what they really want. I think if you show me someone's behavior, I'm going to show you a little bit more of what they want than what they say. So they might think they want happiness and say they want happiness, but I think their behavior speaks volumes. So I don't think they really want it. I think they want it. I think they may believe that they really want it. They may even believe that where they're going is actually going to give it to them. But what they're really doing is they want to be right, or they want conflict more than they absolutely want happiness. So that's why I disagree with what you're saying.
And see, using that same kind of mentality, right?
Yeah.
And I guess this is the part of the show where we start getting a little bit deeper.
Okay.
And
Let's
getting
get
into
deeper
philosophical kind of thoughts, right? And that is, I thought I never wanted, like, my actions
Right.
didn't tell you. I sought out conflict.
Right.
I was all about holding people accountable, even when they probably shouldn't be.
Right.
I was all about being aggressive and getting people's faces and violence and things of that nature.
Yeah, but why? What did you want?
I wanted to be right. I wanted them to realize they're an idiot.
But why? What did you really want?
Well, I wanted peace, to be honest with you. But
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't think I wanted that. I thought that I was already there. I thought I was good. I wasn't the problem. It was them. If everybody else just did what I thought they should do, we'd all be fine.
I wanted everybody to shut up.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I wanted everybody to leave me the hell alone.
Absolutely. And
I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel whole and complete. I felt empty and I felt weak.
Sure. And I was confused on how to get to the end result of peace and happiness. Like, I didn't think I wanted those things. I convinced myself that I wanted to be this big bad dude that's going around being mean to everybody else, and I just shut up, leave me alone. You're all stupid. You're all wrong. And the problem is I had that, but it didn't give me the sense of fulfillment that I was looking for, because I still kept doing it. I still had that angst inside of me. But once I started finding something bigger than myself, a.k.a. spirituality, some sort of purpose, if you will, that it changed my perspective on things, and I started kind of changing my behavior. And then when I started to get real peace, real contentment,
Yep.
changed everything.
Yep.
I still can understand my old way of
sure.
thinking. And so all along, what I was really looking for was peace and contentment. I just didn't know that's what I was looking for, and I didn't know how to go about getting it. I was under the impression the way to get that is to be right, and to get everybody and impose my beliefs and my will on everybody else. But in all reality, what I needed to do was be more content inside.
Yeah.
And so I think that everybody's on that path, but they just don't know it. They don't know that's what they want, because maybe they've never tasted it.
You changed it to peace and contentment instead of happiness. All of a sudden.
Well, you
I
can
thought
call
it was
whatever
happy.
you want.
Ah, okay.
Call it whatever adjective, whatever you want to call it. That moment where you're just like, I'm good, man. I'm all right. I don't need to do all that stuff.
Right.
I think we're all looking for that. But the problem is,
We're all looking for everyone to shut up. Is that what you're saying?
sure. But the problem is that we kind of go about it in ways that maybe we've been taught, or ways that we thought have worked for us in the past,
Right.
or whatever it may be. And we spend so much time justifying our behavior that there's no time left to stop and question our behavior. Because I spent so much time being an ass to people. I spent so much time justifying my reasons for doing that,
Right.
and telling everybody else that they're wrong. I didn't have any time to really sit back and be like, well, wait a minute. Is this really the right way?
Yeah.
And then for me, it took kind of hitting a spot of like my low, if you will. I had to be in a place in my life where my humility was triggered. The whole my best thinking got me here.
Mm-hmm.
I had personally, not everybody, but for me, I had to be put in a situation where I was just failing miserably. Like my home life was sucking, my business life was sucking, my work life was sucking, my gym, nothing was doing what I thought it should be doing. And then I had to stop and say, well, wait a minute. If I'm so great and I'm so wonderful and I'm awesome and I'm right all the time, then why does everything around me suck so bad? And that's when I had to kind of have that humbling moment where my best thinking got me where I'm at. My way of valuing things, my way of approaching things got me right where I'm at. And if I'm not happy where I'm at, it's on me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my moment when I started to realize it wasn't everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody else needed to shut up. It was me.
It's a beautiful moment.
It was a great. Looking back, it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
In the moment, it was not so beautiful. In the moment, it was like, what the hell just happened?
It was empowering to me. That moment
Yeah.
was very empowering to me.
Yeah, looking back,
I really enjoyed it.
it was one of my top 3 moments in my
Yeah.
life right now.
Yeah, it was
of that
empowering.
moment where it hit me, where I was
Right.
like, whoa, it's on
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it's like taking back control that you never even had.
Yeah.
Yeah. That moment to me was very enlightening, because I took back a moment that I never even knew could even exist. It's like, I spent so much time blaming the world for my feelings.
Yeah.
whatever feelings it was.
Yeah.
You know, I never felt in control of the only time I felt in control of my feelings is when I took a substance that took me to a place that I wanted to go, which is why I took that substance in the first place. You know, if I wanted to go up, I took something that brought me up. If I wanted to go down, I took something that made me want to go down. If I wanted to numb out, I took something that numbed me out.
Right.
I felt that's the only place that I could control, because everything else was this screwed up, messed up world that I was living with. And so, you know, I thought I was happy when I was in that altered state.
Exactly.
So
that's a lie
I wasn't pursuing something that I didn't feel that I could grasp. What I wanted, though, I wanted to feel accepted. Now, that word, I could feel that. I think that's more of a human nature that I think all humans just naturally feel,
Right.
a belonging feeling. I think that there's this human nature to want to feel accepted. Now, within that, we may define a happiness. We may define other words.
Yeah,
but I think
I
understand.
It's all the same
but I
concept.
think that connectivity is the ultimate human experience. Even for the people that don't want to be connected with other humans, they still go get connected with nature.
Right.
They still go all by themselves somewhere, and they connect with inanimate objects or the world. Right.
Yeah.
That feeling of belonging, I think, is paramount.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's kind of where the show's coming from in the sense of, you know, don't be that guy.
Don't
that
disconnect.
Girl. Yeah, don't be that ass. Don't be that person that's so caught up in your own kind of belief system that you don't stop to think, wait a minute, man, like, what is my intent? How am I coming off with this? You know, is it getting me what I want?
Right.
You know, if I find myself constantly in arguments, constantly having to have these conflicts and everything else, instead of saying that everything would be fine if everybody else just kind of believed what I believe, I need to stop. Like, well, hold up. You know, how am I contributing to this problem? Maybe it's my way of handling things.
Well, the thing is, if you're an ass to me, you just disconnected us.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, you may not think you need our connection. You may not think it's a valuable connection, but you don't know yet. This is a long life.
Yeah.
There's people that I'm
Hopefully.
connected with right now that I never thought I'd be connected with. It's just the way it is.
Absolutely. And not only that, but on a side note, once again, you don't know what you're missing out on. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't know the unknowns.
Dude, there's so many people in my life that I like, man, I used to you said something the other day about, you said you don't like to burn bridges. Mm-hmm. And where I'm at now in my life, I'm kind of similar in that sense.
Right.
But back in my day when I felt justified with everything, I had no problem burning bridges.
I'll blow up the bridge.
I went on out of my way. Dude, I showed you when I quit the Postal Service, I showed you the paper, like what I wrote on there.
Right.
It was very it was very straight
bridge
to
burning.
the point. Yeah,
bridge burning.
Absolutely bridge burning.
Yeah.
And I was proud of it. Like, I wore that as a badge of honor. Like, like you said, I blew up the bridge. What bridge? Yeah. But that's because I felt so justified that you know, I'm right.
Yeah.
I don't care. And if you're wrong, I don't need you in my life.
Right.
But now I'm realizing, like, hold up. There's plenty of people in this world that just have a different approach.
Right.
That have different life experiences, and that's just not where they're at on their journey.
Yeah.
And that's not where I'm at on my journey. And so to burn that bridge, it's like, hold up, man. Like, who knows what kind of opportunities I could have completely blown up along with those bridges.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think now, you know, I've spoken to people years after the fact that I used to work with, and to hear their impressions of me back in those days was vastly different than I saw myself.
Yeah.
It was vastly different than what I thought that I was exuding, you know? I thought I was exuding power, respect, and all these other things. What they saw was fear and, like, I don't want to be around this person, and I don't know. They didn't respect me. They were afraid of me. Yeah. And that's not the same, you know? They viewed me as somebody.
Oh, you're a Bronx Tale.
What? I don't even know.
It's a movie.
But they viewed me as somebody not to go to.
Yeah.
And what the sad part was, I do believe that there was a lot of value I had to offer people, but I never got the chance to give them that value because they were so afraid of my behavior. And so that's the thing, right? Is we all have the ability to make an impact. We all have the ability to share our knowledge, but you might not get that opportunity if you come off as an ass all the time. Yeah. You know, you might feel justified and stuff, but is it worth it? At what cost?
Yeah, and I don't think I would have never known the cost for some of them if it wasn't for, you know, living this long. You know, to be honest with you, I didn't expect to live this long to even have to know the cost, right? I mean, because at that point in time, it really doesn't matter. I always thought I would die young, and who gave a damn? But now that I'm living so long, it's like now you're seeing some of these relationships come kind of back, and them explain to you, hey, I stepped away from you because you were doing this. I've had so many people through this darn invention of Facebook come back and say, well, the reason we stopped hanging out, and they kind of explain a scenario that I was in where I was doing something that they weren't really 100% cool with, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a complete different memory or perspective of the situation, like you were saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so I guess what we're saying today is you can take another bridge. You don't have to burn a bridge. You can take another bridge. Yeah. There's another way around to the other side.
Yeah, well, what is that old adage? You know, if all you have is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
But that damn hammer is so cool, dude. The hammer and the screwdriver. Do you really need more?
Sure.
I mean, really?
You know, sometimes a scalpel is needed, not a shotgun blast.
God bless. Oh, the shotgun.
Don't get me wrong.
You're saying all my favorite weapons.
Absolutely, I get it. I totally get it.
You know,
it's a very immediately gratifying thing,
God.
But long term, not so much.
Give me a shotgun, knife, and a hammer, and I feel like I could do just about anything.
Okay,
it's my 3 favorite tools.
But using the same analogy of a shotgun, right? Like, you know, there's a person holding your wife on the other side of the room. You're not going to use a shotgun because you're going to take them both out. Well, maybe you would. I don't know. Dana's a wonderful lady, so I would hope not. But
Dana has like Matrix power.
But no, I mean, you know, and that's the same thing I try to take with my kids, right? There's times where my kids will mess up that I want to go in there and just drop the hammer on them, but I have to remember they're young, they're trying to learn, and I could completely veer them in one direction if I come and just yelling and everything else. I got to kind of take a different approach, you know, and that's I learned through the whole school of hard knocks on that one. I've learned through turning people off,
I hope,
burning bridges and things of that nature. Hope. Yeah, I mean,
I hope I've learned. I think
you have.
Isn't that the thing with education, though? The thing with learning and the thing of where you're at, you always think you can always look backwards and go, "Wow, I've learned this lesson."
Right.
But because we've lived so long, we know we're also in the process of still learning another lesson that we're still doing.
We're evolving, yeah.
So I wonder what at 59 what I'm going to say about this time. I go, man, at 49 I thought I knew this. Yeah, right. Damn, I was just a young buck.
Well, the other thing too is there's a difference between learning it and applying it. You know what I mean? I think we all know certain things, but applying it's a whole other story. You know?
I hope I do. I think I'm still ignorant to some things.
I think we all are. Yeah. You know, the one thing I learned is I don't know anything.
Right. Yeah. I've been married 25 years and I'm still learning about stuff that I need to improve.
Of course. Oh yeah, my wife, she's always telling me what I can improve.
Yeah. There's that thumb again.
Exactly. But yeah, man, you know, that was one of the biggest mistakes I think I was making was thinking I know everything.
Yeah.
You know, and then I realized the older I get, I don't know anything, man.
You know, worse than thinking I knew everything, I thought what I didn't know, who gave a damn?
Yeah, who did?
It's not even necessary. I know everything I need to know is what I thought. That's what I thought. I know everything I need to know. Everything else is just who gives a damn.
Yeah, pretty much. But like I said, I think that I think that's the problem is we get so convinced, and gosh, and I'm going to regret saying this. I already know it. But in the political sphere, you have the same issue. Is you have these two completely polar opposite sides, and they spend all their time spouting their perspective.
Right.
That they kind of forget that there's a whole other perspective out there, and neither one of you are inherently wrong or right. It's just a different way of looking at it, and there's a solution somewhere in the mix. But you're never going to get that solution if everybody keeps drawing lines in the sand. It's just not going to happen. If you're not listening to the other person, you're not trying to understand that because you feel so convinced that you're right.
Yeah.
You're kind of being an ass now.
Yeah, both extremes are being asses.
And I've seen that happen. Like, when, you know, an example would be like, you know, the extreme left, right? The extreme liberals.
Yeah.
You know, I absolutely agree with a lot of where they're coming from. Not all, but there's
a
lot of
extreme or just the liberal.
Just the liberal side.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the extreme liberal.
No, the liberal in the sense of, you know, a lot of the social progression and things of that nature. Like, I understand where they're coming from, and I agree on a lot of that. Yeah. A lot I don't agree with. But when I see them go from that to going from to not allowing people speak at like college campuses, right? Because you don't agree with what they say.
Yeah.
You're not even allowed them to speak anymore.
That's stupid.
To me, you've now crossed the lines, and you no longer can get on your high horse anymore. You lost the moral high ground because you are now guilty of the exact same thing that you didn't like what they were doing.
Silence in speech and silence in history, man. You can't do it.
Yeah, and you're only okay with that now because you're on the winning team.
Yeah.
But before you were on the losing team and you didn't like it. And so, in that sense, that's what I'm saying.
No, you think you're on the winning team.
Well,
if you're on the winning team, Hillary will be up there.
Well, what I'm getting at is you have the mob behind you.
You just think you're on the winning team.
Well, you have the mob behind you all yelling at this guy and having him get off the stage.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying I agree with what they're saying on stage. What I'm saying is they have the right to speak.
Right.
And they have the right to speak, you know, and you have the right to not be there. But to try to infringe on that person's right to speak their truth, you're not learning anything, number one. But number two, you're just being an ass now. But you lost that moral high ground. You can't then turn around and say that you're better or you have the the righteous, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Their self-righteousness is right.
Yeah,
I think
because you did the exact same thing the other side was doing for years, and so in the political spectrum, we're seeing it play out.
Right.
Every day, and I think that's that's part of the issue, man.
Yeah, I think it goes along with everything we're saying today about don't be an ass. I think that when you think your side, your perspective, your view is the only view that should get heard,
Right.
then whether you're right or wrong, because you may be right. I don't know. And what I hear a lot is, well, history will show that we're right, or history will show. Well, but we're not in history right now. We're in it right now, and so
Vlad the Impaler felt the same way.
Exactly. So we don't really know where this is going, other than right now you're being an ass.
Yeah.
That's the known. The known is as that you're not listening, you're only speaking. And I think that's what you're saying today, Trinity, is in order to not be the ass, you have to at least half and half, at least listen as much as you're speaking.
Yeah.
You can't just do one.
Well, not only that, but the truly strong person can give mercy too. Like, even if you were justified in your stance, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like an example would be let's say somebody who you held the door for somebody walking into the store, and they didn't say thank you, and you get perturbed at that, and think that's kind of rude. I think there'd be a million people that would get on your side and say, yes, that's horrible, you should say thank you, and you're disrespectful, whatever. And so in theory, you could be justified in a lot of people's eyes to then turn around and very obnoxiously be like, you're welcome, some sort of sarcastic kind of whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you can be totally justified in a lot of people's eyes. But to me, you're being an ass because it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
You're not going to change. You're not going to teach that person anything, number one. Number two, it's not your position to teach them anything. You're not their spouse or whatever. They're just some random person. And number three, what if that person, like I said before, what if that person, their mother just died, and they're on their way to go to, the hospital or something like that to pay their last respects and kind of get things together, and their mind is completely just not in the moment. And then here's some prick who's just like, oh, you're welcome, I held the door for you. But like, bro, there's more important things in my life right now than who hold the door open for me. Like, I could do it myself. Yeah. Like, you've now crossed the line from being justified to being an ass. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, just because you could doesn't mean you should.
And that's a perfect example of, are you doing it for the right reason, or are you doing it for some gain here? Because if I hold the door for you, I hold it open because I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. I used to hold it open, apparently, because I used to get upset when you didn't say thank you. I used to want some attaboy.
I want that gratitude, man.
I don't need the attaboy anymore. I do it because it's the right thing to do, and I find that to be the respectful thing to do. So now I don't care whether you say thank you or not. I realize you're self-important, maybe. Maybe your mind is somewhere else. Maybe you're in La La Land. I don't know.
Or maybe you don't really you really don't care.
Isn't that like doing a charity thing, like bringing groceries to a homeless person? Wouldn't that be, if you're only doing it if you can record it for social media?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to say it again because the microphone didn't pick up on it.
Nuggets of wisdom, man. Yeah. So my wife, who refuses to be on camera, what she just said was another example would be doing the nice thing for like the homeless, going and giving and donating food and things of that nature, but only so you can use the footage to show people like, hey, look how great I am. I'm helping out the homeless people. Right. Yeah, and I agree. That's an example. Like your intent isn't to really give, help. Your intent is to be acknowledged. Look how great I am.
Right. I mean, look, man, you can't go earn a humility pin and then wear the humility pin. Yeah. And if we deem you most humble and you take that award and you wear it around the whole next day,
look at me,
I'm gonna strip it right off your chest the next time. Tom brought up the Bronx Tale again. Yeah. So that's twice the Bronx Tale. You never seen the movie The Bronx Tale?
I don't think so.
For real?
Is that before my time?
Whatever. It's a great movie. You're gonna have to watch it. I've seen it like 20 times.
I have to look it up later.
It's probably my wife's favorite movie.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's that good. You got to watch it. But there's a doorknob test that he referenced, so you got to. I can't believe you've never seen a Bronx Tale, bro. That's a classic.
But I don't know. I mean, I have to look it up and see. I've seen so many movies. Man. Right. I'm a movie guy.
Wow.
Anyways.
Wow.
So, but
can you believe that, Tom? He's never seen a Bronx Tale. I can't believe it.
What's going to suck is if I go.
You're going to love that movie, by the way.
And I realize I did see it. Who knows? I'll have to look it up later.
Yeah. Wasted talent, man.
My point is just, with the don't be an ass thing, in that door situation, like you could be justified in a lot of people's eyes of being irritated that you went out of your way to help somebody. But first of all, like you held open the door, like you didn't cure cancer. Like relax, you held the door open. It's not that big of a deal. But more,
God.
But I'm just saying, that's what the self-righteousness comes in.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna do that. No, I'm gonna do that next time. If someone opens the door to me, I'm gonna say thank you, but it's not like you cured cancer or anything, and I'm gonna keep walking.
That would actually be funny, I think. I want to be there when you do that because I want to see the reaction.
I want to do that. I'm so gonna do that.
I want to see the reaction. But that's part of the but that's part of the thing, though, right? Like we get so justified that we put such an importance on our perspective and our view. Like you must look the way I'm looking at it. If not, then you're totally wrong. You thought I was Italian?
No, you're getting reamed over here for a second, so I got to bring it up.
Oh,
all right. So have you seen My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah, the one with these two Utes.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because Tom said if you didn't see that, he's tuning out.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. These two Utes. Yeah, of course I've seen that one. And I might have seen The Bronx Tale. It just could have been a long time ago. I don't know. I feel like I need to go home right now and watch it if I haven't seen it. I don't know. I'll look it up later. But my point is we oftentimes get so caught up in our perspective. We feel so justified, so self-righteous.
So much.
Like I used to be that guy when I would open the door and I'd be like, "You're
welcome."
Like come on. But
Marissa says she's still doing that.
But see, A, I don't know what their life is like, and B, I just held the door open. Like, come on, I didn't like. They're not going to remember this gesture 30 years from now. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Why do I have to have such gratitude for it?
They'll remember it if I slap that door in front of their face. No, wait a minute. Wait, Marissa. Wait a minute. I got to know this.
All right, bring it up. What happened?
Wait, Marissa is saying on Facebook Live, for those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, and if you're watching this on YouTube or something like that, so when this show is actually aired live every Tuesday from 1 to 2, we're on Facebook Live.
Nice plug.
So you can follow Trinity or myself, and you'll be able to watch it. But anyway, Trinity, Marissa just said when she opens the door for people and they don't say anything, that she'll make a reference. She'll make a comment. First of all, I'd want to know, Marissa, you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah, who
the hell are you opening the door for?
Well, who's allowing you to open the door for him?
Who is such a lazy,
Oh
good-for-nothing piece of crap human being that sits and waits for a female in a wheelchair to open the door for him?
Dude, I would feel horrible. Like, I would run. I would break out into a sprint if I saw her get ready to open the door for me. I'm like, no, I got that. Like, let me get that for you. That's horrible. So for those of you who don't know, Marissa,
you suck. If you let her, let me tell you something. Let me look at the audience. If you allow Marissa to open the door for you, you suck.
You're an ass. Yeah. That's what you are.
There's an ass. There's a definition of an ass, Trinity.
I can't imagine the scenario where I would think that's okay. Like, even if I had my hands full, I wouldn't let a woman in a wheelchair come up and try to open the door for me. I'm like, no, I got it, thank you. That's funny. But that's the definition of being an ass right there, guys. You heard it here first.
Definite ass.
But no, I mean, I think the point is just don't be that person. Like really kind of take an inventory of what you're doing and saying.
Yeah.
Even if you are justified. So, is it necessary? Must you?
Yeah.
Like, just because you could doesn't mean you should.
Look, love yourself enough to give me a little of that love. And that doesn't mean hug me, kiss me, marry me. That just means love me enough to not don't interfere with my day like that.
Be kind.
Just be nice.
Be kind.
Love yourself enough to just let me have just a little bit of that love. Smile, however you smile, throw that at me. Because you don't know where I've been. You don't know what I'm dealing with that day. I might be contemplating suicide that very minute, and that little smile you just gave me a little bit of hope enough to move on for the next minute. You don't know.
Exactly. Or that ass comment you just made is enough to push him over the edge.
Over the edge. You don't know.
That's all I needed. And them, like, for instance, not saying thank you for holding the door.
Right.
Is it really worth potentially ruining somebody's day like that? Like, really? Is it really that mean? Does it mean that much to you that you're willing to take the chance that you're the person that sent that one over the edge?
Right.
All because they couldn't say thank you for holding the door.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, like you and I always say, that's where the kick the dog comes from. Somewhere there's a dog suffering because somebody was an ass somewhere, and all of a sudden, eventually, at the end of the day, boom.
Yep.
That
energy
kicked.
has to go somewhere.
It's got to go somewhere.
And sadly, it's usually the dog that pays.
Or dog.
Or somebody's wife or something like that. It's horrible.
Yeah, or husband.
Or husband. Yeah, my wife beats me. So
Listen, yeah, that's why I was saying that. In Angel's case, if you piss off Angel, this is for anybody that knows Angel. If you piss off Angel somewhere during the day, all you're doing is validating that Trinity gets his butt beat at home. That's all you're doing is helping Trinity get beat.
Hey, and don't get it twisted.
That's not
for
cool,
everybody
by
who's
the
watching, man. Like she presents herself as this cute little hi everybody. Man, please. There's a whole other side of that woman.
Yeah, reality and perception are two different things.
Exactly. See, don't get me wrong.
I'm looking at the stare you're getting right now, boy. You so in trouble.
Fantastic, wonderful human being, but do not piss her off. Wow. Or don't get away between her and her food.
I think that's going to cost you like an extra $1 or $2 on what she's about to order after the show.
Exactly. I'm going to call you up later with a long list from Walmart or something.
Yeah. You're going to end up getting like salmon or sushi instead of like a burger.
Exactly.
No, I'm a burger girl.
Dang.
We had a burger on our honeymoon, bro.
Yeah, well,
We're burger people.
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we just can't get so caught up in our own justifications, man, that we forget to not be an ass, man. And we've all been there. That's the thing. Don't get it twisted. You've been there. I've been there. You've been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We've all been on the giving and the receiving end.
I was probably an ass already today.
Well, you were at Walmart with some lady earlier.
I stayed quiet. I let her.
So you weren't an ass then?
But I was afterwards when I talked. She just doesn't know I was an ass.
Well,
I did talk negatively about her later, but she doesn't know I was an ass.
That
but I
wasn't
was
an ass, though. That was you were venting. That's what that was.
And
that's okay.
And when she did apologize, I said, "No, it's okay. It's not a big deal." I lied. It was a real big deal in my head, but I said, "No, it's okay. It's not a big deal."
There's nothing wrong with that.
I was being nice and respectful. That's because I respect my elders and I respect women, and I'm not going to be that guy.
But here's an example, right? We'll use that as an example.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, he had a story where he went to Walmart earlier to purchase something for the studio, and the lady who was checking him out in the line was a little bit older and maybe not maybe not the greatest cashier that Walmart's ever seen.
Yeah.
So she made a couple mistakes, and the people before him and made a couple mistakes with him.
Right.
And it just didn't go very well, right? She maybe needs to be retrained.
It took about 30, 40 minutes to go through 3 people.
But the point is, you would have been, in many people's eyes, completely justified to completely lay into her. Like, what are you, stupid? What are you doing? I can't believe it. You could have been justified in a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
But would it have been worth it?
I could have set a negative tone for sure.
You could have absolutely handled that in a poor fashion. And you would have been justified in a lot of people's eyes, but you still would have been the ass in that situation because you could have just let it go, man. It's not a big deal.
It was one of those moments where you're in a line where it's easy to look at the person behind you in line and say a comment and they're like agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I could have done that.
Absolutely.
Instead, I know the guy behind me wanted to say something really bad. Instead, I set the tone as it's okay, it's not a big deal. And really in my head, I'm thinking, no, it's a huge deal.
Yeah. In that situation, it wouldn't have been worth it, man. Like, you might have felt you might have felt like, oh, yeah, I got that off my chest. But I know you well enough to know afterwards you would have been thinking about, like, oh, dude, like, I shouldn't have done that. Because, she's older, she's doing her thing. Like, you don't know what her situation is. She's doing the best she can. Like, come on.
And you know what?
It didn't impact your day that much.
Well, here's when it would have impacted the day. And this is how you set your day. You set the tone off wrong in the morning. If you leave where you don't have any minutes to spare, and everything needs to go correctly as planned for you to make it on time.
Everything takes on a more important role than it should.
Then all of a sudden that becomes a bigger deal. But because I left with so much time,
right,
I was able to just sit there and breathe and go like, I'm not in a rush. Trinity's not at the studio yet anyway, and it wasn't as big of a deal. In other words, because you were such a good man to Angel and did the stop that she required.
That's right.
For you to feed her. Yeah.
Exactly.
She wanted to stop and get a drink. You stopped and got her a drink. She wanted you to stop and get her food, so you stopped again and got her food. You stopped twice in order to please her.
Yes.
Then I knew that there was plenty of time.
I gave her nourishment.
I'm sorry, there's not a microphone on you, Angel. I can't hear you. But because you were such a great man.
Exactly.
He forgot me.
I did not forget
He
you.
bought himself food and
Oh, here we go.
got in the car and ate it
I hope. Are you being an ass right now?
Yeah. Is there a really reason for you to be an ass? And so,
how are you going to feel about this later? Are you going to be happy about this later?
So this is one of those moments that we can also be an ass and like turn the cameras around and show her.
Exactly.
But because we're not going to meet her assness with our own
bigger.
assness.
We're bigger people.
Yeah, we're going to be bigger people.
Exactly. And we justified at the moment, but we choose not
and
to.
we would feel good. This is a great teaching moment.
It is a teaching
Lesson.
moment. Y'all see it here first. Where did it all go wrong?
It's good to be Dharma.
It is.
Be Dharma.
But I mean, I had my own situation like that. Yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
There was a, I guess a storm must have knocked out some of my internet and whatnot at the house.
Yeah.
Both my TV and my internet are just not working, and so I
It's
did-
probably the guy that you owe the money to.
right? I did all the things.
It's
that
good to not even bring that up as a possibility.
Right.
It must be a storm.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
I did all the things I know to do, like resetting the boxes, modems,
Right,
and things of
right.
that nature. None of it worked. So I called the AT&T people, and I said, hey, what's going on? Is there an
Yeah.
outage or whatever?
Yeah.
So they started talking me through it, and then they found out that the problem wasn't necessarily on my end, that they're going to have to send somebody out now to look at the box or whatever.
Right.
Very inconvenient.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I
is
don't
very
I don't have any
inconvenient.
internet or any TV until Wednesday
That
morning.
sucks.
So it's irritating for sure. And this gentleman was able to knock some of my bill off, like $20 or something like that. Well, hold on.
Oh, never mind.
So-
Let me hold my clap.
Well, he was able to knock $20 off the bill. That was I guess the equivalent of like 3 days without service.
Okay.
And they told me if they come out, they're gonna have to charge me $99 if they find out that it was on my end. Like if I did something
that's
to mess
scary.
up the
That's
box, or
dangerous.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm not happy with the situation. I'm irritated, and I would be justified in expressing my irritation. But in my mind, this dude is getting paid $8 an hour to answer phones. He has no clue. He doesn't have the authority to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do anything that's going to delay my service getting put
Yeah,
on. So I was like, you
yeah.
know what? I handled it the way I handled it. I want to get my service back on.
Yeah.
And then once it's on, I will call back and say, look, how do we make this situation right? Like, what happened? What's the problem here?
Right.
She didn't see. She told on herself right there.
Mhm.
That person was bad.
She wanted to go off on the person.
Yeah.
But I said no, I'm not going to go off on him because it's not,
Again, the bigger person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Both physically and literally.
Yeah.
But my thing, and there was a time in my life where I would have just unloaded. Like, what are you trying?
Right.
I would have lost it.
Right.
But, dude, this person, this person woke up. They're trying
He's
to
following
go,
procedure.
exactly.
He or she's following
He's
procedure.
looking on the screen
Yeah.
and telling him what to say.
Yeah.
And as much as it irritates me, it's not him. Like he's not the representative of the entire company.
Yeah.
It's not his fault that whatever happened.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to. What I had been justified in many people's eyes of having an attitude and setting a tone of being like irritated and being a disgruntled customer that this is happening.
Sure.
Of course, I would have been justified in a lot of people's eyes. And to be honest with you, I could have probably made a big deal of it and gotten the manager on, and they might have knocked off $30 as opposed to $20.
Yeah.
Or two.
But I wouldn't have been happy with that.
I don't have TV.
But I wouldn't have been happy with that.
She's still mad.
She's going off. So you guys are starting to see the true picture. I told you. She's not that innocent one.
You wore the right shirt today.
Exactly.
Did
but-
you wear it on purpose because you knew she'd be sitting there?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But for me, I wouldn't have been happy with it.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have been content with knowing that I potentially made this dude go home and kick his dog. You know what I mean? Like, I'm putting myself in his shoes. He doesn't want to answer half these calls, and every call, especially for an outage, his mind's like, "Oh man, is this about to go bad?"
But let's be honest, he probably has a cat.
Maybe.
I'm kidding.
But anyways, my point is even though you're justified, don't.
Here comes the email. Here comes the emails.
Yeah. Even though you think you're justified, don't be an ass, man. It's
All
not
right.
important.
All right, Trini, wrap it up, brother. We got a couple minutes, and
We do only have a couple minutes.
do
Wow.
your thing.
Time
I'm turning my
flies.
mic off. See you, people.
Right on. All right, so first let's thank our sponsors. We are lucky enough to have some fantastic companies to support what we do here and allow us to get this message across to everybody. The first, I'm going to go ahead and say Retreat was behavioral health. Retreat, I think they just changed their name. Mr. Tom Garofolo has been watching on Facebook Live, so you'll be happy to know, my friend, that you are helping make this magic possible. So Retreat Behavioral Health, and then you have Journey Pier, which is another fantastic one. I'm hoping to see everybody at the golf tournament we got coming up, which I'll explain in a minute. Tom, hope your knee's doing better, and I want you to be there. We also got Orange County Drug Free Coalition, big supporter of us and Louis himself and everything we've been doing here for years. And then last but not least, we have the Now Matters More. The Now Matters More Foundation, I'm the president. He is the founder. We help individuals who are in need of drug and alcohol rehabilitation. We help them navigate the system as well as and potentially scholarship some of their treatment. You can find out more about who we are and what we do at nowmattersmore.org. You can also hit that little donate button. Every dollar helps. And then if you want to connect with us and get help, you can do 833 Now Matters. That's 833 Now Matters. We do have a golf tournament coming up on April 1st at Reunion. I've never been there myself. Louis checked it out. He says it's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Our golf tournament every year is fantastic. So if you're a golfer, by all means, go to, was it Now Golf Tournament? right? nowgolftournament.org, and you can sign up there. If you want to be a sponsor for our tournament, they go fast, so make sure you get in there now and get signed up. I think that's all of our sponsors, right? You got them all? Right on. Thank you. So now our tips. I'm going to break down the show a little bit, give you some tips to kind of rehash and give you an action plan for today's show. Let me pull it up real quick. We did this earlier. All right, so number one, in a situation like what we described throughout the show, you got to pay attention to your own behavior. Stop worrying so much about what they're doing and start focusing on what you're doing. Are you being an ass? Are you don't look at your justification, just look at the outcome. Am I being an ass to this person? Am I doing something that's unnecessary? That accountability, I think, will help in kind of guiding your next move. And the next move and the second part here is what is your intent? Like, why are you getting ready to say and do what you're going to do? Are you really trying to make the situation better, or are you just trying to let this person know that you're offended? Are you trying to bring them down? Are you trying to make them hurt the way you're hurting? Is it some sort of superficial reason for that? What is your intent? And then lastly, if your intent is even in a good thing, if your intent is, I'm truly trying to have a teaching moment here, then ask yourself, is there a more useful way? I used to have a phrase to explain this. In Buddhism, we call it right speech, meaning it had to be truthful and useful. And so when I was running boot camps in the fitness world, if I had somebody who was just a horrible, they did burpees horribly, I might be truthful, but it wouldn't be useful to tell that person, hey, you got the worst burpee I've ever seen. And so whatever you're getting ready to do, make sure if your intent is one of teaching or helpful or useful, then find a more useful way of putting it. You don't have to be an ass. I think that's all we got, man. It was a good show today. I like it. And I love the weather, too, by the way. Got to put that out there. Yes. So, anyways, I think that's all we got. That's all the time. So now that you know better, do better. Peace. Are you still here? What are you doing? I told you, go do better.